Hey guys, it's Luke again with Motor Minds, and today we're kind of doing a follow-up review with our 2016 Charger, except for this is more of a comparison review. Today we are in a 2012 Dodge Charger RT. So if you guys watched my 2016 Charger review, you would know that I really liked the Charger, thought it was a great car, had a lot of muscle, was really showy and a lot of fun to drive. But that Charger was the newest Charger with the V6 Pentastar engine and the facelift. So this Charger, it's the same platform, same powertrain roughly as the new 2016 Charger, except for the exterior styling is different for the most part. So today what we're going to find out is if you should have bought the V8 or the V6. So, or whether you should buy the 2012 or the 2016, and that's really down to your styling preferences. So let's talk a little bit about the styling. So with the 2012 Charger, the styling is way more in your face than it is with the 2016. The 2016 Charger is way more angular and a bit curvier than the 2012. The 2012 is more, it's kind of like slab-sided, a lot of sharp angles instead of rounded off angles like you get in the 2016. And I think it's a lot more bold. The new Charger is a bit more restrained and maybe a bit more fluid in its design. But this 2012 Charger, like the front end, you have this huge masculine front end, you have these huge headlights that just stare you down. You have the classic Dodge 4-piece grille, which is way more prominent in the 2012 Charger than it is in the 2016 Charger. It's a bit more subdued. And whereas I think the 2016 is a bit sleeker, this car looks more like a race car. You have these indentations in the hood that just look menacing. You move down the side, and the side of this car, it's pretty slab-sided like it is in the 2016. The side looks really similar, but this car has the 19-inch rims, and what I was saying in my 2016 review is that this car needs 19s to fit the rest of the car. Because this is such a big car, the 18s just dwarf it. They look a bit too small, but these 19s look really, really good. And then moving on to the back, this car has a deck spoiler. It makes it kind of look like a race car. The back of this car is also a lot more angular than the new car. It's a lot more just sharp angles. It looks kind of boxy in the rear, whereas the new car is a bit curvier, has a bit more like a swoopy design than this car does. And I mean, that's really up to your styling preferences. You want something that's more in your face and more like big fat American muscle, this is probably what you want in the 2012. But if you want something that combines American muscle with a bit more refinement and maybe just a little bit sleeker, you're probably going to want to go with the 2016. So let's talk about the powertrain. That's obviously what you guys want to hear about with this car. So the 2016 that I drove had the 3.6 liter Pentastar putting out 292 horsepower. But this car has the big fat 5.7 liter Hemi V8, which puts out 370 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. And that engine, it's not mated to an 8-speed. This car was before the times of the 8-speed automatic. This is mated to Chrysler's old 5-speed automatic. And as far as I can tell, I really don't see much of a difference. The shifts are still really quick in this car. I think where you're going to notice it the most is in highway fuel economy. The new car, especially with the V6, but even the new V8 RT models get better fuel economy than the 2012s, just because you have 3 additional speeds, so you can have lower RPMs on the highway and get better efficiency. But this car, the 5-speed works perfectly fine, and it sends its power to all 4 wheels. This is a 4-wheel drive Charger. Now, the other one that I drove was rear-wheel drive, and one thing that you get with the 4-wheel drive is a lot of added security. This car handles really well, and especially the owner of this car has told me in snowy environments, this thing is a beast. You can't get stuck. You have all 370 horsepower going to all 4 wheels, and it just grips like all hell. So I think 4-wheel drive is definitely an advantage that this car has over the Charger that I drove, the 2016. So the V8 in this car, it sounds really good. And it also has cylinder deactivation. Most of the time I've been driving it, I've been in eco mode. It's an automatic eco mode, which basically makes you run on 4 cylinders. It shuts off a bank of cylinders so you can get better fuel efficiency. And it definitely works. The owner of this car has been getting an average of 19 mpg. Now, for a 5.7 liter Hemi in a big heavy car like this, that's actually pretty respectable. I was pretty surprised that he was getting that good of a mileage. I mean, the Charger, the V6 Charger that we were driving was actually averaging about 19.5, which isn't a whole lot better. Granted, driving styles and the way that you've been driving the car, where you've been driving it, that's all going to factor into what mileage you get. But in this case, still 19 mpg overall for a V8, that's really good. And this V8, it's actually pretty powerful. It will push you from 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds, which that's about 1.5 seconds quicker than what you will realistically expect to get in a V6 charger. And it feels quick, but one thing I've noticed is that when you first get on the gas, it's still in eco mode. You're still running on 4 cylinders. So it takes a little while for it to snap in, get all 8 fired up, and then you go. It definitely feels like a 5-second car though. It's powerful, but it's not a scary kind of power. It feels very usable. It's not intimidating ever. It's just really nice to have the power there, because whenever you get on the gas, you're gonna go, and you always have an adequate amount of power just to get going, and you don't feel like you have to like work against the car to go somewhere. The car feels willing to get up and go all the time. And the engine note is quite phenomenal. You have that, what do you want to call it? A bellow, I guess, from the Hemi engine. It just kind of bellows at you. It sounds really good. The Hemi engines always have had a different engine note than your classic V8s. And I really like it in this car. It's a really nice application of the engine. I think the biggest thing that you'll notice with this car is just the ridiculous amount of torque. You get not necessarily pushed back in your seat, but you can feel like the surge of torque that you get with this car. You didn't really get that in the V6. It didn't feel very torquey. You felt high-end power, but you didn't feel a lot of push. So that's one thing you get in this car. You get a lot more push, and I really, really like that. I think you guys are gonna like it too if you ever decide to get a Hemi. So let's move on to the interior of the Charger. That's the biggest difference between this RT that I'm in and the SXT that I was in a couple weeks ago. So this RT's interior is ridiculously swanky. It is super nice in here. You have leather seats all around. You have these really nice leather stitched door panels. You have leather armrests. You have heated front seats and heated rear seats. Now that's really nice. So that way it's a cold winter day, everyone can get their butts warm. And as with the Charger that I drove a few weeks ago, you have your 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen. This one doesn't have nav, just as the other one, so I won't be able to give you a review on that. But I really do like this system. It's very easy to use. You have big graphics, basically the same thing that I said earlier. It's exactly the same system. But I think the biggest difference in these interiors is just the amount of features that you get, including the leather seats. I think my favorite feature overall are the heated and cooled cup holders. Now that's something I didn't even know you could get on any car. It's just ridiculous. You can be driving along and let's say you have some hot chocolate or whatever, just got in the car, it's a cold winter day. Oh no, my hot chocolate's gonna go cold. Not anymore, because you have heated and cooled cup holders. So the interior comfort overall is really good. You have 19-inch wheels, which you would think would hurt the ride just because the bigger wheel you go for, the more that it can add harshness to the ride, it just because it's a bigger wheel. So that basically means that the car can be less comfortable, it can be a bit jittery on the highway, and this car, you don't notice that. It's so unbelievably smooth. And I think these 19s really make the car look better as well. So it's a good trade-off. You still get a smooth ride, and it's nice and stylish. But the other thing I love about the interior are these seats. As I was saying, you have leather seats all around, and they're so comfortable. This car has about 60,000 miles on it, but that means the seats have gotten to wear in, and oh my God, are they comfy. You have so much support, you have tons of adjustment, you have nice big bolsters on the side, and I really like the way the pattern of the stitching is on the seats. You have like these little stitch patterns that run across the center of the seats, and it makes it look really sporty. They really hug you, and they're just super plush. I am in love with these seats. They're way better than they are on the 2016 SXT without leather. Like, those seats are good, but these leather seats take it to a whole other level. And just being inside the interior, it's really quiet in here. This Hemi really shuts up when you're going at speed, and I just think it's super comfortable, super cushy, and it's a really great family car because this car, you have that sporting attributes, but it also is able to haul the family around in comfort and serenity, which I think is key. You can be a real man's man and drive it around and be a dude having your Hemi Charger, but you can also haul around your whole family in lots of comfort. So that's really key here. So overall, I think if you want to get a Charger, definitely check out the Hemi. I don't think it's a necessity for this car. Like, the V6, the 3.6 liter Pentastar is really nice. It's quick and it gets good fuel economy. But I think this Charger is going to appeal to those that want a bit more noise, a bit more panache, and I think that if you're looking for that, it's really not that big of an MPG hit over the V6, so I think it might be worth it for people that really want to get that in their cars. So test drive both of them, see what you think, and as always, thanks a bunch for watching Motor Minds. If you want, you should definitely check out our new website, motormindsproductions.com, and as always, subscribe, like, share, and we hope to see you watching our next videos. So we will see you then.
Didn't even get to run.